In this video today, I want to talk about embracing the new in your life and really releasing and letting go of the old. In whatever life situation you find yourself in, being able to move and shift and adapt to the new in your life is essential for you to live more in the present moment, for you to have more peace of mind, and really for your overall happiness to some degree. And changes in life are inevitable. They're going to happen and they're going to come. And the better that we can move through those changes and embrace the new of which we are called to in our lives, the more fulfillment and peace and satisfaction you're going to experience. But I want to talk today about what the biggest issue is when it comes to embracing the new. Why do we have such resistance to change? Why do we have such resistance to embracing something new, even if we know deep down that it's going to give us greater happiness, greater joy, greater peace, greater fulfillment? And I want to talk about that because this is something that we all experience and that we all will experience if we haven't, and give you some guidance, some spiritual wisdom on moving forward in your life if you are finding yourself in a situation like this right now. So it really could be anything. It could be a new career that you intuitively know you should be stepping into, but there might be some hang-ups there, there might be some fears, or there might be some concerns, or there's uncertainty there. It might be moving to a different city or a different town. It could be literally anything. And I want to talk about the root problem. I want to go to the core of this and explain to you why people have such resistance and how you can really ease this resistance in your life so that you can embrace this new adventure that you are being called to move into. I talk a lot about the ego on my channel, and that's really what this channel is about, is really releasing the ego, coming into your true nature, the true essence of who you are beyond form, which automatically takes you to the now, to the present moment, into stillness. We have to really, look at this deeply. Is this necessary for you to adapt to new things in your life? No, it's not. However, if you want it to be as smooth as possible and as easy as it can be, this is necessary then. So what people have a problem with and what people have a challenge with when it comes to embracing the new in their life is the identity that they held on to previously or that they are still holding on to. And in order to really release this, we have to look beyond identity. And we have to understand that who we are isn't a person. It isn't this body. It isn't this mind. It's not the thoughts and the emotions that go through you. You aren't your job or career. You aren't anything that you are identified with in this world. And yes, you may have labels, you may have things that you do and that you have responsibilities, you have things to do, things to attend to, you have a job, you have a family, you have these things, but it isn't ultimately who you are. Relatively speaking, yes, you have these things, but in the greater picture of this whole thing in life, we aren't any of these labels. And when we become so attached and identified to a particular singular label, that's where we lose touch with truth. That's where we lose touch with our true essence, and that's where things can be a little bit harder and more difficult when we are trying to embrace something new in our lives. And it just so happens that when something new is coming in, we are going to be challenged in a certain way, and we need to evolve in order to meet that new opportunity. And the more you can release the old identity and accept the new one, and accept this new opportunity that's coming in, the better you're going to be able to adapt to it, and the quicker that's going to happen. But in order for you to move into that new phase of your life, we have to understand that there's really two levels to identity. You have the surface level identity with you as a person. Yes, it is true to some degree, but there's a deeper identity to you that is greater and more true than this physical appearance, which is one and the same with everyone, which is connected to all things in this universe, and which is beyond form. And it's really that spark of divinity, you can call it, that essence, the isness of life, the spirit that is within, that has no labels, that has no identity, that it isn't any of these things, that you can't put words to it. And although I'm using words, and words are really kind of signposts kind of pointing to that, but that can't really be explained. And that's really the beauty of it. And that's where the peace comes in, because it's not of this world. And you can't grab it, you can't hold on to it, you can't label it, you can't do any of that. You can only just experience it. So that's where we need to come into when we are going through a period of change and transformation in our lives, because it will help you better understand that, okay, maybe it's your career or work. I was totally identified with this particular job or career, but I know that I'm being called to shift and to change into something new. And if I can just understand that who I am isn't really this particular role that I've been so identified with for so many years, and I really thought it was who I was, but I'm actually beyond that. It isn't totally who I am. Just embodying that spiritual truth and that wisdom can help ease you into this new phase of your life. And you will grow from that understanding, because when you come into this new identity, this new career, this new type of work, you won't be so attached to it. You won't be so identified with it conceptually and mentally and emotionally. And when you come to that experience and that understanding in your life, you'll actually get better results from that particular endeavor or whatever that may be, because you're not so hung on to it. You're not just hanging on to it with everything. You are there and present and just experiencing with it. And if that changes and it morphs into something else, and that changes, and that's okay, and that goes to something new again. But like, the problem that people have is really this attachment to a particular part of life, to a particular label, to a particular role, whatever it may be. And this is where people can really get stuck. And people can stay in this role, in this label, for many years. And what can happen is that they become depressed, or they don't feel fulfilled anymore. They don't know why, but they're just so stuck and hung on to this identity that they've thought themselves to be, that they struggle with embracing what's being asked of them, which is something different. So in order to really step out of that old and embrace the new, is understanding who you are. And who you are is beyond all labels, beyond all things in this world. It's beyond your thoughts and your mind and your personality and your body and your likes and your dislikes. None of these things are ultimately you. who you are is beyond all of that. So to step into that place, to come into that within yourself and to realize that deeply, this is what we can call spiritual progress for your life, but also it'll help you shift and move into that new phase that you're being called into. So I talk about releasing the ego and on other videos on my channel, and really just practicing presence and stillness on my channel too, through the breath, through body awareness, through understanding that you are not your mind, you are not your body, and these sort of things. And I talk about this a lot in my other videos, but I wanted to talk today about really releasing the old and embracing the new, and understanding that these things are inevitable in your life. And the more you come into truth of who you are beyond form, the easier things will be when it comes to moving into a new direction in your life. So I ask you today to just contemplate that, to sit with that in your life, and to really reflect on where you are. Are you being called to embrace something new in your life? Is there something that's being asked of you that you are having difficulty accepting because you are too hung up on an old identity? And if that is so, I want you to really question that identity. Because again, it's not ultimately you anyways. So I hope this video was helpful. Please share this video with any family or friends that may be going through something like this in their current life situation. I also do one-on-one coaching with clients who are looking to come more into peace in their everyday life and really break out of overthinking and excessive thinking and really find peace within. If you're wanting coaching on that, you can schedule on my website at mikepozorski.com. Otherwise, please subscribe to the channel if you are wanting to learn more about awakening and stillness and the present moment. I shoot videos like this every week, so thank you for being here, and I'll see you in the next one.